Good day, everyone. This is Vivian Tranquilan, your trainer for today. This seminar is about disaster and hazard. This seminar is brought to you by Ian Bautista, Vivian Tranquilan, Wendy Bermejo, Ira Amogis, Kiel Barredo, Jomari Charifa, and Chloe Vienzon. Disaster and hazard. What is disaster? Disaster are the sudden dangerous events that brings about great loss or destruction to community. Disaster harms human lives as well as human properties. It also disrupts services in the community such as water and electrical services. What is hazard? Hazard is also the same as disaster. It is the uncertain cause of events that has a potential to harm human lives as well as human property. Hazards and disaster may happen due to natural phenomenon, a man-made or biological. A certain disastrous event is not considered disaster when there is no recorded damages. Disaster causes damages to human lives and properties, while hazards don't. Now let's go to the nature of hazards and disaster. What are the types of disaster? Natural disaster and human-made disaster. Natural disasters are the natural phenomena or the forces of nature, such as earthquakes, flash floods, landslides, volcanic eruptions, agricultural diseases, El Niño, La Niña, etc. Human-made disasters are made by human doings or actions. These are the events against human materials and environments such as building collapses, car and train crash, service disruptions, terrorism, and explosions. What are the impacts of disaster? Medical effects. Medical effects are the traumatic injuries, emotional distress, or the psychological human challenges, such as anxiety and depression. Transportation disruption. Transportation disruption are the disrupted transportations due to broken roads, bridges, and other infrastructures. Facilities disruptions. Community services such as electrical facilities, water facilities, and other services disrupted due to the disaster. Economic effects. Economic effects are the business operations delayed, prices of economic products increases, and the increase of unemployment rate of the country. Now let's go to hazard. What are the types of hazards? Natural hazard. Natural hazard are the natural phenomena that has a potential to cause harm and injury to human lives and environmental damages. Technological hazards. Technological hazards are industrial conditions such as accidents, dangerous procedures, and infrastructure failures that may cause human injury or illness to human lives. Biological hazard are the bacteria, viruses, insects, plants, birds, animals, and also humans that can cause a variety of health skin effects ranging from skin irritation and allergies to infections. Hydrometeorological hazard. These are caused by extreme meteorological and climate events such as floods, droughts, hurricanes, tornadoes, landslides, or mudslides that causes possible injury and damages to human lives. What are the impacts of hazards? Physical impacts, which is death of human lives, destruction of properties and infrastructures, loss of housing and lands. Psychological impacts. Psychological trauma, depression, anxiety, especially among children. Socio-cultural impacts. Population displacement, ethnic conflict, loss of cultural identity. Economic impacts. Economic impacts are loss of jobs, loss of stocks and harvests, loss of income. Disaster risk and its components. Disaster risk are the potential losses of human lives, livelihoods, and assets that occur in a certain place Disaster risk is function of hazard exposure and vulnerability. Exposure are the subject of potential losses. It refers to human lives, assets, and services. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is the resilience of the community or a certain person, family to adapt a potential losses due to the disastrous events. There are four components of disaster risk. Mitigation or measures to be taken before and after an event. Preparedness or the measures to be taken before and after an event. Response or the measures to be taken during and immediately after the event. And recovery or the post-disaster measures or the long-term after event. Resilience. Resilience is the planning and reducing of disaster risk to prevent and protect the community from further losses and damages. It is related to capacity in which refers to the sources used to cope with the recovery from the disaster and also to coping capacity which refers to the ability to manage a certain disaster. Importance of resilience. Resilience is important as it enables us to develop mechanisms for protection against disaster dangers and can also protect us from the development of the mental health difficulties and issues. How to build resilience? First, emphasize capacities to manage risk of hazards. Explore options in dealing sudden hazards. Improve cooperation to the community. Invest long-term projects, especially funding projects. Be connected to the disaster readiness and have seminars to inform communities.